Welcome back to the TMBC Wake YouTube channel. If you haven't entered the surfboard giveaway yet, make sure to get over that video and get yourself entered. I'll put a link right above me, I'll put a link in the description below, and I'll put a link at the end of this video. Alright, so I decided to start a series named Wakeboat Ownership. This was a suggestion of one of my subscribers, and I thought it could be worthwhile, so I'm going to try it out, and based on your feedback, I may or may not continue with more videos. So make sure you leave comments below with your thoughts on the subject and ideas on what you might want to see out of this series. I always take any and all comments into consideration when I'm making new content for the channel. So I'm going to start out by describing to you where my experience comes from, the boats that I've owned, and kind of some of my intentions for the future. So first of all, at this point in time, I've owned 5 different boats, and 4 of those boats have been true wakeboard boats, as opposed to a normal inboard outboard ski boat. One of them was an inboard outboard ski boat. So my very first boat was a 2005 Sea Ray 210, I believe, and I ended up putting a tower on that boat. It was my intention to use the boat mainly for wakeboarding. I had been on other people's boats prior to this, and they did a similar thing where they had an inboard outboard boat and put a tower on it. And I liked it. It wasn't until I had a season or 2 behind me on my Sea Ray that I came to the conclusion that I wanted a wake boat, and there were several factors that went into that. In my seasons with my Sea Ray, I had developed a very deep passion for wakeboarding. I found that with a normal inboard outboard boat, you can only go so far with how big you can get the wake, the shape of the wake, how far apart the wake is, as well as speed control. All of those things are very controllable with wake boats. The other big factor at the time was that surfing behind a boat was becoming a huge new sport, and I was interested in trying it out, and I didn't have the capabilities of doing that behind an inboard outboard. Even though people try doing that, I would definitely suggest you only do that behind a boat that's designed for it, because there's a high level of danger surfing behind a boat that has an outboard drive, because you can slide into the prop. There are inboard outboard boats that have the capability of producing a surf wave, and the props are mounted on the front of the drive. So if you're going to do it behind an inboard outboard, you should do it behind that style of inboard outboard. But for me, it was more about wakeboarding. So that's what led me into my next boat, which was a 2007 Malibu Wakesetter 23 LSV. Another factor was the fact that at the time I discussed with my wife a lot about how I wanted to be able to progress in the sport and how I thought that a wake boat would probably help with that. And at the time I thought to myself, you know, I can't really afford, I'm looking at these boats, and I was thinking about new boats, but a lot of the ones I was looking at were like $80,000 to $100,000. And I was just thinking about that in terms of normal car payments and thinking, oh my God, that's a huge payment. I'm not going to be able to afford that, nor do I want to extend myself that much. And she basically said something to me that really changed my mind about it. At the time of this discussion, I think I was 29, maybe 30. I'm 37 now, just to kind of give you a frame of reference. She basically said, if you want to get a better boat for wakeboarding, you're probably going to want to do it now, because by the time you think you can afford it, you may be less capable as far as your health and your abilities physically, because I'll be older. And I really thought about that a lot, and I decided that she was absolutely right. I I needed to take the time while I was still somewhat young to be able to progress. So I decided to go forward and try to get a wake boat. Only at the time I decided I'm gonna look for a good used option that has some of the things that I want. And the reason I went for a 23 LSV is because when you compare a 2007 boat and below, there are certain features that you're going to have and not have depending on the year of the boat and the brand. Most Malibu boats at the time had an integrated ballast system, and they also had the power wedge, which were two very big features at the time for creating really good wakeboard wakes that you could actually control the shape of. Also, Malibu and the 23 LSV had been known at the time for the best-selling towboat of all time. So there had to be something to that, and it helped me trust that particular model. So I went ahead and bought myself a 2007 23 LSV, and that purchase is basically what sent me in the direction or path that I'm on now, where I'm now on my fourth Malibu. I have owned a 2014 23 LSV, a 2017 23 LSV, and now I have a 2018 24 MXZ, and I'm currently working on getting into my next boat. So that kind of gives you some of my background. There's a lot more to share, and I think there's a lot more topics to talk about, such as tips to help you find the boat that's best for you. Also, tips on financing wake boats. For example, a lot of people look at financing a $100,000 boat on a 5-year loan, and the fact of the matter is that's crazy to anybody. You can finance these things for up to 20 years, and that makes the payment a lot more affordable. But there's a lot more to it than that. Also, benefits of buying used compared to benefits of buying brand new. Also, what's involved in owning a wake boat. Oil changes, maintenance, taking care of your gel coat, making sure your boat gets winterized properly, is stored properly. So those are just a few of the items that I think might be helpful in a wake boat ownership video series. So that's all there is for this week's video. Again, I'm going to base the upcoming videos for this series on the feedback I get on this video. So make sure to comment on this video if you want to see me add more videos to this series. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you can be notified of my future videos. I'll see you next week.